Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's video. We're going to have a look at weather next 10 to 14 days for today's video. Daytime will take us to the 5th of March, and I'll get on with that for you in a second. Just say that it wasn't a 6 AM upload today, but it will be back tomorrow. So I didn't think I'll be able to do a video, any videos today. I thought I was going to have today off and I've got an appointment, but the last minute it sort of fell through. So I am able to be here and do this this video for you today. Next week I'm going to take some time off this spring, so next week I'll have all of the detail about that, the time off that I'm going to be taking. It'll probably be about a month or so, but I'm going to take off. There won't be any uploads, you know, the channel will just go dormant, probably for about a month or so, at some point through the spring, but I'll try and work out, you know, when that's going to be, and I'll let everybody know next week. It'll be the first extended break that I've had for 10 years, so I am ready to have a little bit of a break. There's a lot going on, you know, at GavsWeatherVids Towers for myself and Missy P and whatnot, so I am ready to have a rest, have a break, and I'll have the detail about that for you next week. And you know, with so much going on, just bear with me please. At times I may not be able to upload, you know, as I have been done so over the past decade. You know, just one of those very difficult periods, you know, that we're going through at the moment. So I hope everybody understands that and so on. But I'm trying my best. But it is a really, really difficult time right now. So thank you so much, you know, everybody, for the incredible support all of the time that you show to me. It's amazing. It's incredible. Thank you so much. And one bit of good news is that we are now over COVID. We're COVID negative, so that's gone, and yeah, so that's one little bit of good news anyway, one ray of sunshine in an otherwise pretty bleak moment, you know, period for me, and for Mrs. P as well, but we'll get through it, I'm sure. Right, let's crack on video anyway. Let's look at some weather. That's enough about me. So, and you're not really interested in my problems. So, here we go. We're going to start off with temperature at 10 HPA over the Arctic and the North Pole. So, where we've got these blue colours, these are the cold temperatures over the North Pole, 10 HPA in the stratosphere. We are having a bit of a warming of the stratosphere, though, over the North Atlantic and Northern Europe. These yellow, green colours just here. They're actually going to intensify sort of orange colours over Northern Scandinavia as we go into tomorrow. So we are going to see this warming of the stratosphere intensifying and pushing in towards Russia and Siberia as well. So quite a significant warming of the stratosphere taking place, so not really penetrating into the Arctic and into the North Pole itself, at least not until we get to around the first week of March, when we do start to infiltrate those green and yellow colours into the Arctic. Meanwhile, the blue colours, the cold temperatures at 10 HPA, they continue to be sitting over Northern Europe. So that's like a displacement of the polar vortex at its roots in the stratosphere. Now look what happens here. As we get into the second week of March, we get a Sudden-Stratospheric-Warming appearing. These bright red colours, indicative of a genuine SSW. That's the kind of level we're waiting for to get to Sudden-Stratospheric-Warming. And there it is, starting off over Siberia through the second week of March, and looking like it's going to try and push in towards the Arctic of the North Pole as well. So hint of a sudden stratospheric warming into March. Very, very late in the day. Of course, not going to have any impacts on the winter, but could have impacts for spring. Maybe we'll set up northern blocking as we go through the spring. Won't be the first time I've had a mild winter followed by a cold spring, but we'll of course have to wait and see about that. It's only a hint at the very extended end, you know, extended range of the GFS. Operational run today, 6Z operational run, but like definite SSW there being indicated. So that is going to be one to watch. Central temperature is currently standing at 7.1. That is 3.4 degrees above average, exceptionally mild. February, that is provisional to yesterday, to the 22nd of February. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. The next couple of weeks, actually, I haven't go to 6Z now. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. The next couple of weeks, I'm at Birmingham today. So red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Birmingham. Starting off about average at the moment, getting a cooler than average in the next few days. And then we're going to see the upper air temperatures lifting up as we head into the first week of March. Things will start to become quite a lot milder before later on in March, later on through the first week of March, into the second week of March, we begin to see the upper air temperature cooling down. The operational run, 6-hour operational run, which is this green line, was a bit of a cold outlier in the extended range. Not perhaps an outlier, but it was at the coldest end of the range anyway, and we do have quite a few that are quite mild. So I think, like the first week of March, how what happens with temperatures, I think, remains to be seen. There is a little bit of a cooling trend there that is in evidence. Precipitation-wise, not going to be all that much precipitation, actually, over the next week. Some wet weather tomorrow, and then some more around the turn of the month, and then later on, precipitation spikes come back, but that's not until we get to the very extended range, like last week of March, into the second week of the month. Temperature anomalies on the 23rd of February to the 3rd of March, actually a little bit below average for England and Wales. Precipitation anomalies from the 23rd of February to the 3rd of March are drier than average, particularly for England and Wales, a little bit wetter than average for western parts of Scotland. The latest wind flow map from urbanoilschool.net shows that winds are in from a west or a southwesterly direction today, so it's pretty mild. But once we get today out of the way, we are going to start to bring some cooler air in from the north, so some cooler air begins to push in from Greenland. Right, this is how the UK Met Euro is looking for midnight on Saturday. So we're going to be under a little ridge of high pressure there. That might produce some frost and fog. And then the high pressure gradually slips away into eastern Europe, allowing lower pressure to come in from off the Atlantic. As we get to the very end of the UK Met Euro run, we find high pressure out to our west, and we begin to pull in something a little bit colder from the north, actually a little bit of a northerly wind there on Wednesday, the 2nd of March. Icon is looking like that, again under a little ridge of high pressure on Saturday 22nd, then on Sunday 27th, the high pressure begins to slip over towards eastern parts of Europe, lower pressure coming in off the Atlantic. That's how we finish up midday on Wednesday 2nd of March with some higher pressure from France into southern England, some lower pressure is out in the North Atlantic. GFS midnight run, again under a little ridge of high pressure there for midnight on Saturday. That high pressure then sort of slips into eastern Europe, but another ridge builds in as we get towards the middle of next week. That's Wednesday 2nd of March under an area of high pressure. And so high pressure more influential as we get to month end, beginning of March. Then around and after day 10, just sat under that big area of high pressure, brings lots of dry weather with it, and that carries on all the way up to the 11th of March under a ridge of high pressure. Lower pressure is out to the north and west. That'll be a little bit of a taste of spring, I would have thought. 6Z, again, showing high pressure is sort of slipping into Eastern Europe over the weekend, allowing lower pressure to come in from off the Atlantic. The high pressure starts to go north around day 10 and start to pull something in a little bit colder from the north and from the northeast. It's actually setting up like a north-northeasterly wind then with the 6Z as we go to the 6th of March, which is just beyond day 10. So we go cold with easterly, northerly or northeasterly winds up to the 11th of March. So yeah, quite cold and rather wintry actually with the GFS 6Z, but we did see on the ensemble graph that it's one of the coldest members, one of the coldest options if you like, but it does go pretty cold and wintry through that first half of March with the 6Z. GM, again, under a ridge of high pressure on Saturday. That ridge then will slip into Eastern Europe. Lower pressure will build in behind it, and we finish up at day 10, looking like that with high pressure over France and southern England. Lower pressures out to the northwest. That means some wet weather into the far northwest of Scotland. Meanwhile, England and Wales will be under the ridge of high pressure, keeping it mainly dry. So definitely a drier flavour to the weather for end of February, beginning of March. And then ECM, again, under the ridge of high pressure on Saturday, and then that ridge sort of slipping more towards eastern parts of Europe with another area of high pressure building out to west by middle of next week. That gets the wind into a northerly direction, so colder air begins to push in from the north and from the northeast. And then at day 10, we've got high pressure to our north and northwest, and winds are pulling in from a northeasterly direction. So ECM also going quite cold actually through that first week of March. It could be that we're going to get into March and winter is going to arrive. It wouldn't be the first time by any means that this has happened, that we have a mild winter and then it gets colder into what would you think it is the spring. Would not be the first time that's happened at all. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Tepetio.com. So there will be more rain coming and go, but not as much as we've had. I mean, it starts to go colder, of course, with higher pressure building over from northwest of the country, and that turns the wind into more of a north or northeasterly direction. Means that the options are on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. Gets us to the 5th of March. 20 members of the ECM ensembles seem to get a little bit of high pressure to our north, and that would start to try and pull winds in more of a north-northeast direction. 18, again with high pressure to the north, and winds are going around into an east or northeast direction with low pressure over France. That's probably the coldest option. It does include the control and the operation run. And then 13 with high pressure just to our east, and that's pulling up the wind from more of a southerly type direction. So that will be starting to go a little bit drier. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. Will get us to the 10th of March. 19 members of the ECM ensembles have low pressure to our west-northwest, high pressure to our east-southeast. Winds will be coming in from a west-southwesterly direction. 14 will have high pressure to the north of Scotland. Winds will be coming in from the east. So that could be quite cold, bringing some easterly winds there. 11 with low pressure right over top of the country. That's going to be westerly. And, you know, very unsettled. And 7 then with high pressure over France. And, of course, that's going to be spring, bringing up the winds from a southwesterly direction. So a range of options there to go at, you know, in 2 weeks' time. And we'll just have to wait and see. It could go colder, though. So this week, finally, these are 500 millibar heights broken down into week periods. The first week period takes from 21st of February to the 1st of March. Coming week with low pressure to the north and high pressure to the south, and winds in from a west or a southwesterly direction. Should be relatively mild. Week 2 is going to be the 2nd to the 8th of March. High pressure will be over Germany then. Winds will be coming up from a southwesterly direction. Again, a lot of dry weather with that, and you would have thought quite mild and spring-like. Week 3 will be the 9th to the 15th of March. High pressure just to our east. It'll be mainly dry winds coming up from southeasterly direction. And then finally, week 4 is going to be the 16th to 22nd of March with high pressure over and slightly to the north of the country. Low pressure is out to the northwest. And winds again coming up from a southwesterly direction. Should be mainly dry with that, and pretty mild, you would have thought. So the CFS not interested in wintry conditions into March, but we shall see what happens. Time will tell. Right, if you've enjoyed this video and found it informative, please smash the like button. Make sure you sub to the channel. Thank you so much for doing that. Drop a comment. Let us know about this and all of our videos. And don't forget to tell your friends and family about GavsWeatherVids. It's amazing. It's incredible. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing this for us. And yeah, we're going to be back tomorrow with 6 AM forecast and 10 to 14 day. As I say, I am going to be taking a break, and I'll let everybody know when that's happening. Next week. It'll probably be for about a month, and I would imagine it'll be later on into March, maybe March overlapping into April, but I'll let everybody know, you know, about that when we get to next week. I'll have the detail firmed up. But in any case, tomorrow 6 AM upload and 10 to 14 day as well. So keep checking back to the channel for more. But for this video, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.